45. Leave it on the house.
I talked about this in my one Kiss studio albums video, I think, where I was buying bootlegs out of the back of Circus from these guys that were advertising back there very early on, by like 83, 84. There was a guy named Ken Kozira, Kozyra, I think is how you spelled it. He was up in New Hampshire. And this guy advertised live concerts on cassette. Cheap Trick, Kiss, AC/DC, Van Halen, Judas Priest, whatever. Send $1 for the catalog. I sent $1 for the catalog, and I got back in this manila, 11 by 12 or 10 by 12 envelope or whatever size they were, 11 by 12. It was about a quarter-inch thick. It must have been like about 50 pages or 25 pages or whatever. Tiny, tiny print. Like you needed a microscope, a magnifying glass to read. He had so many fucking concerts on cassette. I mean, radio broadcasts, soundboard recordings, stuff from Europe. I mean, every tour you can imagine. I shit myself when I got this. I was like, I can't work enough hours to make enough money to buy all the shit that I want. I was like 14. So, and I worked at 7-Eleven after school every day.
Here you go.
I'm gonna have a Slurpee too.
You're Tug McGraw.
No, my name is George, and I'm playing
Tug
polo
McGraw.
here.
We've got Tug McGraw on some of our 7-Eleven Slurpee baseball cups. Look, here's Bob Washington. Wait a minute,
Cedar.
Nolan Ryan.
Here's Tug
Buddy
McGraw.
Oh, that's
Bobby
my
Mercer,
card.
Mickey Rivers, Johnny Bench,
Rod Carew.
Bill Madlock.
Now at
Dave
7-Eleven
Winfield.
stores, you can buy a 16-ounce Slurpee and any one of 60 baseball star cups. But George isn't one of them. Sorry, George.
Some mornings, there's a little monster in all of us.
Morning, Fred.
And until that first cup of coffee, we can all be pretty beastly.
Morning, Fred.
That's when your 7-Eleven store can be a lifesaver.
Good morning, Fred.
With a good cup of fresh brewed hot coffee to perk up your morning. 7-Eleven coffee brings out the best, not the beast in you.
Hey, Ralph.
For a few hours each day from the time I was like 11 till I was about 13 or 14, just like sweeping the floor. And I was actually used to run the cash register, believe it or not, at like 12. It's just a totally different world back then. He'd get arrested today if he had a kid running the cash register. I used to make Slurpees.
Winter storm in summer. A cold front in a cup at 7-Eleven. Below freezing predicted. Slurpee takes the simmer out of summer. Curious, bold, rare, sensational. It'll freeze your pipes. And now at 7-Eleven, you can get a Slurpee in a surprise cup. 24 ounces of your favorite Slurpee flavor. And there's a surprise on the bottom of the cup. You get a different surprise with every Slurpee surprise cup at 7-Eleven.
There would be like freaking porno mags behind the counter, Hustler and Playboy, whatever. I don't remember whether I ever rang anybody up for a Hustler magazine. I don't think any guy with any self-respect is not going to ask an 11-year-old kid to give him the latest issue of Hustler magazine. That takes a lot of balls. But I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, like I'm behind the counter. I'm the guy that ran the store. He was a franchisee owner, a guy named Steve. He would be busy doing like manager stuff, administrative stuff. He just put in this closed circuit camera system in the store. So he would go in the back And if he suspected anybody was stealing, like any of his night employees or whatever, he was in the back looking at videos for like a half hour. He'd say, hey, I'm going to be in the back. Can you handle it out here for a little while? If you need anything, just holler. And I'd be out there. I mean, I'm 11 and I'm running the cash register, ringing people up for freaking cigarettes and freaking Slurpees, rolling papers, easy widers, job 1.5s or whatever they were called. I mean, like, you know, this is 1981. It was, again, you would never see that now. I mean, you would never see that in the last 30 years probably, let alone now. I mean, the dude would be arrested just for the fact that I was within 10 feet of a porno mag. But I don't know. I guess I got to tell you, I'm 56. I just feel like I grew up in the tail end of like the best time to be a kid and a teenager. And I know it was probably fun to be a kid like in the 50s and 60s and experience all that, was Beatlemania and all that stuff I wish I'd experienced. There's a lot of negative stuff back then too with, you know, war, you know, Vietnam and all that stuff. But as far as being a teenager in the late 70s into the like mid 80s, it was like you didn't have to wear a helmet riding a bike.
This is the Green Machine. Green Machine. 8, 9, 10 years old enough for Green Machine. A racer for guys who like a ride that's really fast. Stick-shift controls, swivel action rear wheels, twist, turn, and spin like wild. Green Machine. What a ride. Yeah. Green Machine with stick-shift steering, some assembly required. Green Machine by Marx.
When I helped design my line of AMF Roadmaster wheels, I said make them red, white, and blue to bear my name, Evel Knievel. You can see they're built solid, flashy, and hip, and the bikes come with these safety tips that bear my name, Evel Knievel. So if your kids are thrilled, I know just how they feel. These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evel Knievel.
People were like, just, you know, you and I know there's a double-edged sword because like we did a lot of reckless stuff that probably, I don't remember like hearing about a lot of kids like this wave of like people dying in like drunk driving accidents or like in car accidents. I feel like everybody lived recklessly back then, but we were also a lot more mature and more careful about the things that we did.
I'll tell you, surfing's not a sport. It's a way of life, no hobby. It's a way of looking at that wave and saying, hey, bud, let's party.
And I don't know. I feel it's a double-edged thing again because, you know, obviously, you know, you don't want to condone drunk driving, but everybody I know growing up in that era, for me, everybody fucking drove drunk home from a gig or a party or a concert or their friend's house. And I just don't remember there being like this huge, massive amount of drunk driving accidents. Now, I probably by the 80s that started to change with MAD and all that stuff, and there's a lot more attention brought to it.
Drugs are great. Drugs make me strong. Drugs make me smart. Drugs make me feel good. Drugs make me cool.
You believe that crap? Huh? You believe all that stuff they're handing you about drugs?
You want to believe in something? How about yourself? Don't do drugs.
You know, I've been playing rock and roll for a lot of years. I've done it all. Now I do it without drugs. Hey, don't get me wrong, I still party with the best of them, but now I do it clean. You know, I'm on top of everything I do.
People probably started being a lot more reckless. You know, I'm generalizing here. I don't know any of this for a fact. It's just the general feeling that I have from being a teenager back then. I feel like we had a lot more freedom to be stupid, and most of the time we handled it pretty well. Like we you know, there wasn't a lot of tragedies going on. Like today, you're overprotected. You know, you kids, they need a helmet to eat a fucking Hot Pocket. You know, you got to put a helmet on. And parents are very much helicopter parents, and it's a different world now. Kids are bombarded with a lot of. We were lucky as kids. We weren't bombarded with all of the negativity, the 24-hour news bullshit. Kids today have pumped into their heads that the world is coming to an end and they're all going to die, like every day, constantly, for whether it's politics or whether it's the weather or whether it's, you name it. You're going to die. You're going to die tomorrow. No wonder kids are depressed and freaking suicidal and like whatever mental issues kids have today. A lot of it is brought on by us dumbass adults, you know what I mean? But I don't want to get into that, but I feel like we avoided a lot of that. You know, we didn't have the phones, we didn't have social media. Kids are dealing with a lot of shit today that we didn't have to deal with. So again, that could be another reason for the stress, you know, the bullying online and the social media nonsense. I know as a kid, if I had access on a phone 24/7 to everything a kid has access to now, I'd probably be fucked up in the head, or I would be making a lot of bad decisions or choices or whatever. But when you were a kid in 1981, you didn't have any of that. You had cable TV was like a big deal. So you had like maybe 50 channels of television, and most of it was, you know, very sanitized. There wasn't anything. You didn't hear any curse words on TV back then. You didn't hear the word bitch or shit or nothing. Now it's like everywhere. You didn't have exposure on your phone to like channels or videos where you could see like murders and like beheadings or crazy, sick, twisted like porn stuff. Like, you watch whatever you want as an adult. I'm not commenting on any of that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or bad or good or whatever. But, you know, there's no way an 11-year-old should be able to see some of the shit that an 11-year-old, even an 8-year-old today can see on their phones. We didn't have any of that. We had such an innocent, our idea of reckless was that, you know, again, like if you're smoking a joint and drinking a beer and going to a Van Halen concert, you know, and being an hour late, that was like, oh my God, you're living on the edge. You know, nowadays it's like, I mean, there's so many ways you can get into trouble that we didn't have half of that to deal with. And we weren't bombarded with news and depressing bullshit. We just had a fun time. We were oblivious to all the negativity, and we weren't obsessed with politicians or politics or the news. But I feel like going back to when I worked at 7-Eleven, and I don't know, we just had fun, you know, Atari and the video games and just music and going outside and playing and, you know, listening to records and buying magazines and going to the record store. Just we were out in the world doing things. We weren't just like sitting here like we're doing right now watching my video. Yeah, how ironic, right? Watching a video on your phone is okay if you have life balance, you know. There's nothing wrong with watching videos, but you just don't want to be obsessed with stuff. Deep dives and rankings of albums, pop culture discussion, classic old school wrestling, some drums, and whatever the hell I feel like. So if you enjoy any of that sort of stuff, if you like podcasts by Rick Beato, Three Sides of the Coin, The Contrarians, Billy Corgan, stuff like that, please check out my channel, Tom Stewart Drums on YouTube, and subscribe. I hope to see you there.